I didn't know how to describe it, but now I do. BBLs look like club outfits that you can't take off.
Why do you have a BBL and you work at T-Mobile?
I just feel like a BBL at 8 a.m., that's just too early.
BBLs don't really look good in a natural setting. Like, they don't really match the energy of the world.
It's such a life-altering experience when you see a BBL casually in, like, Target. Like, oh, mamas, what are you doing here?
There's a growing conversation online about something people are starting to notice in the light of day.
Seeing a BBL in public feel like seeing a Cybertruck on the road. Cause like, that ain't normal to see. Especially during the day. Like, it should be like a nighttime thing only, right?
And we've discussed time and place multiple times, time and place for specific outfits, time and place for certain behaviors. But I never thought we'd come to a day where time and place would apply to a body.
BBL should never see broad daylight. I just couldn't have a BBL because what do you mean I could no longer be a teacher? I can't work at a grocery store. They said that got BBLs, they can't live in Colorado because what the is a BBL doing in Colorado?
And this is very new to me because the human body has never really been something that needed a proper setting. But now it seems that expectation is standard.
Why do y'all get a BBL to live in Nashville? You don't need it here.
Today, spotting a BBL in person is like seeing a shooting star. You know it exists, but when it actually shows up, it still kind of throws you off.
I just saw a BBL for the first time, like in person, and wow, I'm shocked. Like in a good way.
Seeing BBLs in real life will always be so fascinating to me. Oh my gosh, that's a BBL. Like, oh my gosh, that person, that's a BBL. That is a real life BBL. Wow.
And BBLs aren't a brand new invention that just dropped last week, but the way people react when they spot one outside of its natural habitat is very telling. Because what does that mean? Who decided that? And why does it feel so easy for people to agree on it without even thinking twice?
Seeing a BBL not in its ordinary habitat, like standing in a wild, is truly different.
And within all the talk, the naturally built, no appointment needed bodies are starting to feel that heat too.
I wish I could take my butt off and go to work. You know what I mean? Because like, this is just too much. I don't know. Like, it just don't feel right. That's why I always got this cardigan. I got so many cardigans. I'll be respectful.
But what if I told you this conversation really isn't about the body? First, we need to tap into what this type of body has been presented to represent, because once you see it, you'll get a better understanding on why the reactions are so strong. Welcome to the Girl Talk you didn't know you needed. Now, I'm not saying you have to subscribe. You're classy. I know you don't just give those away for free, but hopefully at the end of this video, we become bestie enough for you to take that next step. But first, this video is sponsored by Chime, the most loved banking app, and they're offering a $75 bonus right now with a new checkings account when you sign up through my link. Meanwhile, I was just letting my money sit in my account. And a lot of you are probably thinking, Janae, that's the smart thing to do. But I didn't realize I was just leaving money on the table by doing so. Thankfully, Chime offers a high yield savings account, and their savings account earns up to 3% APY, which is about 7 times higher than the national average. So instead of just letting your money sit there, it's growing. For example, if you have $7,000 in your savings account, you'd make around $27 a year. But with Chime's high yield savings account, that same money can get you $210 a year. So if you're trying to get your life together this year, you're not too late. Chime is a very smart place to start. Join the millions already using Chime and click the link in my description or scan the QR code on screen so you can get started. You can get $75 in cash when you sign up using my link. For years, the female body has been picked apart into pieces. And I don't mean that to sound morbid. It's really just to expose how certain features are isolated, emphasized, and made the main attraction, especially for financial gain.
What happens is the woman's body becomes hacked apart, dismembered in ads. So in ad after ad for all kinds of products, just one part of the body is focused upon. And this is, of course, the most dehumanizing thing you can do to someone. somebody. Not only is she a thing, but just one part of that body is focused upon.
Now, there was one space where women could be ogled at, and it really just came with the territory, and that was the era where being eye candy was everything.
Throughout the music video era, we saw several transitions. We were growing as a culture.
In 2000, it became about the vixen.
We were the aesthetic. We were part of the fabric.
She had the curves, but she had the face. She had the attitude.
Women were getting paid like rappers.
I do want to note that at the height of the video girl era, the body was definitely a plus, but it wasn't everything, okay? In the most respectful way. These women were really just expected to be human wallpapers. From all genres of music, women were expected to stand there, look pretty, and occasionally do a little shimmying to make the music video more attractive.
19 years old, you're being thrown a check and say, stand next to Lil Wayne. I dare you to say no.
We made the video hot. We helped them sell records.
And you always want to see a pretty chick, you know, that feels like success, you know, that feels like money.
It was almost like a written rule that these women weren't there to take it all the way. Just be pretty, make the artist look like everything revolved around him.
The image of scantily clad women is supposed to affirm some image of masculinity, the man as the Mac, as this, you know, sexually powerful, virile example of manhood. And the idea is this man is so important and so powerful, and these women, conversely, are so dime a dozen that they don't matter. They're just eye candy. They're worthless.
But then eventually, everything started to revolve around that ad. Well, those curves.
They've gotten to a point where it's just basically just ass and titties on the camera. I don't think I've seen a video in a long time where women aren't shaking their butts. You know, it's like, it's a must.
And instead of just keeping it at those curves, I should probably say that crack. Because Nelly, in his prime, set a scene that made it obvious, making it very clear what you were supposed to be looking at and what that look meant.
A controversy surrounding rap artist Nelly led to an emotional meeting at Spelman College tonight. The discussion focused on hip-hop videos and how they portray women.
In the video, Nelly is seen swiping his credit card down a woman's backside.
I was very, very bothered, to say the least, about the video.
With lyrics that read, "It must be your act, cause it ain't your face," he completely shifted the narrative that video girls were just supposed to be a pretty face. And eventually, the expectation didn't even need to be said.
When Buffy the Body came out, it started this whole thing with you had to have a big butt. You cannot come after Buffy the Body and not have a butt her size or bigger.
We didn't just see these figures in the music videos. It seemed like right as the sun went down, beautiful, bootylicious women spawned. They were at the nightclubs, the strip clubs, they were bottle girls, they were arm candy, they were on the corner. Let's be honest, there was a specific build that came with being one of these women.
All the dances are about ass. Too much.
Even though there's no studies to show that the fatter the ass, the more money the guy has, nonetheless, it doesn't stop them from trying.
I seen girls with perfect bodies, in my opinion, they were like, no, 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 no. I need to get more ass. I need to pump it up. And I'd be like, oh my God.
And without realizing it, that started to form a mental category in people's minds. Instead of just seeing these bodies, like it or not, they started to associate these bodies with a certain kind of environment. So, now that I painted that picture for you, you can imagine what happened when women outside of that environment started to desire the bodies that normally came with it.
I think music video changed the booty era.
When you look at music historically, there's always been songs that have celebrated more curvaceous figures.
There are certain actors and actresses in the media that are role models, and people want to look like their role model.
With the Nicki Minaj's and the K. Michelle's, you're seeing like this super exaggerated version of the big butt.
Everybody thinks they have to have a big butt to get put on.
I've discussed the rise in plastic surgery many times, so we don't have to go too in depth with that. But we all know how deep it goes. With these surgeries becoming more accessible, celebrities and influencers getting them, social media flooded with them, people advocating and promoting them.
Get the cosmetic procedure. Get the BBL, get the lipo, get the filler, get the facial balancing, get the PRP. I don't care what it is, get the cosmetic procedure.
I went down a whole rabbit hole on these BBLs, right? I look at the befores and afters. Let these girls get a BBL. I'm not even trying to be funny or nothing right now. But when I see the before videos, I'm like, it makes sense. It definitely makes sense. I'm glad you got that BBL.
It seemed like everywhere you looked, online at least, everyone had something done.
Hey y'all, come with me to get a BBL at 19. It is surgery day.
I'm finished. But why are 18, 19-year-olds out here getting BBLs?
There are still just too many people out here getting BBLs for this to have been the last we will ever see of it.
So we both see how normalized and popular BBLs are, right? So if I see it and you see it, why does it still give wrong place, wrong time?
BBLs don't really look good in a natural setting, in real life, you know what I mean? They don't really match the energy of the world, on a regular day basis. Anything professional with a BBL, it doesn't really look good, you know what I mean? It looks like it's not supposed to be there.
Now we have social media reacting to these real life spottings of BBLs outside of their natural habitat in the wild. And people are seriously treating the women that have them like animals spotted outside of their cage.
A BBL and walking is crazy work. This should have bought a car instead of a
Craziest BBL. And I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get a video, but I'm gonna try.
And you can imagine what happens when family-friendly spaces are added to the mix too. If people feel uncomfortable seeing BBLs at a gas station, seeing them around their children creates an even bigger conversation.
But y'all don't see how weird and strange it is to have in a schoolhouse. Why do they have BBL teachers? I don't give a f. Y'all be like, oh, y'all judging these women? Yes, because why the f you gonna get a BBL, a fat, juicy ass standing in front of these kids?
I am not in support of people filming, going up to, bullying people who obviously have these obvious figures.
Go ahead, say it again. Say it again.
But if y'all don't know what's happening in that video, basically them kids that you see in that video was walking behind a lady who has a BBL that they didn't feel was right. And they was just saying, these BBLs killing y'all. And she overheard them. So she decided to start recording them and asking them to repeat what they said. And was basically saying it's crazy because it's the young generation. It's even the kids that are being disrespectful towards people with their bodies done that are not appealing.
Just because somebody looks peculiar to you doesn't give you free range to lose your manners. But BBL slander is at an all-time high because when people see them in person, they feel out of place. And honestly, I don't even think people realize what they're feeling at first. It may just come across as bizarre before anything else because you've seen it before, just not here.
I've worked with nurses who have had BBLs and they walk around all day long just all in Meemaw's and Papa's face. Knocking over the medication with the ass. Can't wrap up no bandages because they all wrapped up. It'd just be a mess. Why are you in here with all that?
When something familiar shows up in an unfamiliar space, it throws a lot of people off. And people are starting to pick up on something else that they can't quite seem to put their finger on.
I feel like BBLs should only be for clubs. It's such a life-altering experience when you see a BBL casually in Target. Oh, mamas. What are you doing here? You should be at this section with the bottle. I don't know. It's just BBLs should only be for the club aesthetic, right? Because I just feel like a BBL at 8 a.m., that's just too early.
Remember earlier when I said, and without realizing it, that started to form a mental category in people's minds. Well, today, those mental categories aren't staying in their minds. People are boldly coming online and saying this.
Don't shoot the messenger, but we can't tell regular women from sex workers anymore. We can't tell. We can't tell hookers, strippers, escorts, whatever you want to call sex workers. We can't tell sex workers from good, wholesome, regular women anymore.
Okay, let's just sit for a second because this is probably one of the hottest hot takes I have ever heard, because now the conversation is looking a little different. Now people are assigning a role to that body. This has moved from you should only be seen in nightlife spaces to if you have it, you should be using it.
You know what I don't understand? Get this big ass BBL and don't want to twerk. Throw that shit. The you at a party, twerk that butt off that back. I want to see some move.
Here's where the conversation gets a little more uncomfortable, because now it's people turning those assumptions into expectations. They assign where the body should be seen, they assign what the body should be doing, and if you connect the dots, you'll quickly learn that the assignment doesn't just stop at twerking.
If you got a BBL and you ain't tricking, you stupid. That's what BBL's for. If you got a BBL and you don't have OnlyFans and you ain't dancing and you ain't fucking in a car, you stupid.
BBLs is for tricking. I don't think y'all know that. The BBLs ain't for you go sit back on your job. You go get them BBLs and you ain't doing what you're supposed to do with them.
And I'm really shocked that people are boldly coming online and saying this, but are we really confused on how they got there?
If you're gonna get a BBL or a breast job or both, make sure it relates to the type of work that you're about to do. I'm walking into establishments, I'm supposed to be buying a product, now I want you. Cause you in here looking like a damn video vixen.
Because when we trace it back, this didn't just appear out of thin air. This is coming from years of people seeing this exact body type in very specific context. So now when that same look shows up in everyday life, people don't separate the body from what they've been taught it represents.
BBLs will never give classy. They will never give classy, especially not the ones that the girls are buying. BBLs will always give, I sell it for a living. Like, okay, some girls get away with the skinny BBLs. When I'm specifically talking about, I'm talking about the girls with the thighs, those big, gigantic ghetto booties. They will never ever give classy.
When you have this look, the curves, the body-yaddy, it may subconsciously tell people something you may or may not be trying to say.
There is this stereotype with people that get BBLs and say, oh, you're getting BBLs because you're a prostitute. Oh, you're getting BBLs because you're this. Or you're getting BBLs because you want men. That is not true.
And it turns into this idea that once you have that look, people feel like they already know something about you before you even speak.
If I'm looking for somebody that is going to be the mainstay, it's probably not going to be a woman with a BBL. Because I know that's mental illness to let somebody crack your ass open, put some Air Jordan up in there, and sew it back up. That is not a mentally stable woman. With BBLs crazy than mother. But you can them all day long. I like looking at BBL when they wash up in the sink.
And it's a stigma a lot of women don't want tied to them. A lot of them just want to look good for themselves, and I respect that. But we live in a society that doesn't always respect that. So now, not only is the internet telling you that if you have the body, you shouldn't engage with society, you shouldn't step out into the world until the sun goes down, but they're also saying that your body should be your entire lifestyle.
Why would you get a life-threatening surgery to then go work a minimum wage job? A BBL is supposed to be an investment in your looks. And that investment is supposed to get you higher in the social hierarchy and into better paying jobs.
Now, to some women, a BBL can be a surgery that can completely upgrade their self-esteem, maybe put a band-aid over insecurities. But there's another layer to this that a lot of people don't realize. If you're upgrading your self-esteem, okay, just like how that booty got a lift, your environment, access, who you hang around, just your lifestyle in general, it seems needs to get a lift too.
In my head, if you have a BBL, that means that your life is paid for. I don't know why this whole time I've been under the assumption that if you go put yourself on the table knowing that you could possibly, that most of them then whenever you wake up and you heal after 3 months, shouldn't you be rich now?
I thought a BBL was going to change my life. When I was selling clothing, I wanted to make sure that when I was modeling these clothes, I looked how I wanted to look in them. People are trying to emphasize like, oh, why would you think that unless you're in the nightlife or you thought a man was going to, scoop you up, baby. It's never been a better man. In my mind, I was thinking that, body looks correct, more money for me and my business.
Now, that whole idea only works if you assume that having this body is sending a certain message, because it's not always doing that. The body alone is being taken as a signal, and that can get dangerous.
Imagine paying to overly sexualize yourself just to get offended when you get overly sexualized. I'm not gonna lie, that's exactly what these BBLs is doing to y'all. Y'all literally just asking for it at this point. And to get offended that a man want to come up and talk to you knowing that your ass is sitting out abnormally from any other woman is kind of crazy. It's kind of mental, actually. Like, you know what you're doing at the end of the day. You're not stupid. So you can't be mad at the attention that you're getting and that you're attracting. You asked for it.
My thing is, how can you come to this conclusion for the women who surgically look like this? Because it's starting to sound like you're saying any woman who's built like this is just asking for it. And I don't like that. It's such a tricky topic that I'm quite literally walking on eggshells about, because in theory, it makes sense why people associate and tie these type of bodies into that nightlife lifestyle. But then it's like, now you're basically saying that the women that have these bodies need to trick themselves out or be streetwalkers because of their bodies. And then what about the women who naturally have that body? Are we going to start calling them natural born strippers?
So, can we talk about how embarrassing it is to have a fat ass? Like, everyone wants one, stuff like that, and everybody loves one and wants to look at one, blah, blah, blah. But that's the point. I feel her there, and I know everybody, I can feel the eyes.
Because if we're saying that a body like this automatically comes with a certain lifestyle, then what does that mean for the women who didn't choose that lifestyle?
I'm trying to go to church, booty just big as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm at a formal event, booty just big as hell. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that's just not formal. It's all fun and games till you actually thick. Like, you got that know you ass just having a fat ass. Hello, I do hair too. You know what I'm saying? I do good in school.
So now you have women who naturally look like this being placed into the same category, whether they asked for it or not. And that puts a different kind of pressure on women who didn't opt for this, but they're still being read the same way.
It's so annoying to walk around and everybody asking you, do you have a BBL, just because they feel like your natural booty don't fit your body. It's so annoying when you're trying to give like a classy look and your booty is so much bigger than your everything that it takes the attention away from what you're trying to give. I don't want everybody looking at me. I don't want everybody looking at what's behind me.
And with this body being so desired and wanted online, I will say I feel like the BBL gets an equal amount of love and hate, but it's one of the most loved, not to mention dangerous, but most loved surgeries out there. But in everyday life, it's recorded, questioned, and picked apart. So now you have a body that's the standard on your phone, but in real life, it's anything but standard.
So a few weeks back, me and my homegirls out day drinking and bar hopping, right? We having a good time. A pack of wild BBLs roll up, right? It was 4 of them. Now, these aren't the only bad BBLs we've seen all day, So, whatever, they're everywhere. My friend's vlogging today, right? Later on that night, my friend is showing me the footage. Now, we've seen this in person. It didn't look like this, but everybody's body banging. We look like we partying with a whole bunch of bad right? Is they building a filter into the BBL? Because that's not what we're saying.
That's why I truly feel like this conversation isn't really about the body. Well, of course it's about the body, but it's more than that. It's about what people think that body type represents. And I'm going to leave this conversation open-ended because I definitely would love to hear your opinions. I feel like it's a very layered topic with a lot of hot takes. I know a lot of people will see it in a different viewpoint. So I would love to hear your takes. Thank you for tuning into the Girl Talk You Didn't Know You Needed. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hype, share, whatever classy people like you do before heading to the next video. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.